All right, everyone. So we're going to jump into the recap and we're going to talk about SGD. This stock is up over 275% and I'm red on it. Unbelievable. So I'm going to walk you through how in the world this happens. It's actually fairly simple. When we look at the chart, I bought at the top and I sold at the bottom. Well, not exactly. But what ended up happening on this stock is it's a lower price stock. So if we look at yesterday's chart, we will see that yesterday it closed at 66 cents. And what that means is that the halt bands today are super tight. All right, so let's get out the whiteboard. Let's start talking about what this means. All right, so halt bands. I don't know why I'm writing all in caps. Some people do that and other people, I feel like it looks bad when I do it. Anyways, so the halt band. So when a stock closes the previous day, so previous close, when it's less than 75 cents, the stock will halt every 15 cents up or down. When it's between 75 cents and $3, the stock will halt every 20%. And when it's between $3 and up, it's every 10% in, by the way, a rolling 5-minute period. So what a rolling 5-minute period means is that literally the halt bands are constantly moving. So right now, if we pull up the level 2 on this stock, and by the way, I'm down 2,700 on it. I'm not too ashamed of myself today. Did I bring some shame upon myself and my family? Of course. I'm red on a stock that's up 255%. So no denying that. But I'm still green on the day, so all's well, I suppose it ends well. Okay, so right now it's actually halted. Let's look at a different stock. So LTRN here, this is showing a halt down level at $7.37 and a halt up level at $9.09. Now the stock's not really moving that much, but if it does move in price, those halt levels will change. So the way it works is that the halt price moves and adjusts. So on a stock that's priced yesterday at 66 cents, it's 15 cents up and 15 cents down. From the average price, so from the average, this is going to be an average symbol, average price over 5 minutes. This looks like a fancy equation, but that's just what it is. So the average price over the last 5 minutes. So this updates approximately every 30 seconds. So if the stock is squeezing up right now, the average price over the last 30 seconds might move up, and then those halt bands are going to move up as well, right? So these halt bands are constantly adjusting around a stock. So the problem for me is that when we have a lower price stock, one that closed the previous day under 75 cents, those halt bands are every 15 cents. So this thing is halted dozen plus times. It'll pop up 15 cents, it's halted for 5 minutes. It'll drop 15 cents, it's halted for 5 minutes. So it's halting so frequently, it's easy to inadvertently get caught in a halt. And that's what happened to me. I got caught in a halt down. So my trade on SGD began at, I actually broke the ice on it as it started squeezing up this morning. And I did get green on it, but then I gave back that profit. So I can't remember where my first trade was on it, but I'll show you where the loss was. So my loss was I bought right in here on this dip for a retest of the high, and then it flushed and I was stuck in one halt and a second halt down. I added some more shares on this dip here and got out into the pop, but it wasn't enough to get back to green on it or recover too much of the loss. So that right there was my loss. And now on a regular price stock, this wouldn't have halted, which would have given me time to get out. But because it halted, opened lower, and then immediately halted again, there really wasn't a lot of time to get out or to minimize the loss. So this is a challenge with trading stocks that halt back to back to back. And this can also be a challenge for people that are trading stocks like SWIN to the short side that halt back to back. Because this one the other day, if we back out the chart, this one halted back to back to back and went from like $20 a share to 60. And it happened so fast, it's hard to manage risk when you're trading around these halts. So I like volatility. I'm a day trader. I love volatility. I'm a hunter of volatility and a manager of risk. But the problem with SWIN is that it's so expensive that the halts indicate that the stock has a crazy amount of volatility. It's popping up and down 15 points in minutes. And then on the other hand, because the thresholds are so tight on lower price stocks, SGD is halting almost unreasonably fast. And another funny thing with SGD is that another stock today, like AIRE, let's see, AIRE, this stock, so here, the halt down is 219, the halt up is 249. All right, so see those halt levels? Now, not all market data vendors will give you those halt levels. I get them with Lightspeed. You don't get them with E-Trade or Thinkorswim. It's only really certain brokers that give you this data. It is helpful if you're an active trader, so it's good to use the right tools. But anyway, so these halt levels will probably adjust in about 30 seconds here, even if it's only by like a penny or so. But you can see AIRE has much wider halt levels, and that's because it wasn't below 65 cents yesterday, or 75 cents. So the halt levels are the regular 20%. So even though it's cheaper, it has wider halt levels. That's odd, but it's the function of this mechanism of how the halts work. I started having some issues with my internet earlier today, so that was part of my reason for saying, you know what, I'm just going to call it a day. So anyways, right now this is trading more or less in the same area, so the halt level's not changing. But so that was my it just changed there. So 21 by 51. So anyways, so that was my trade on SGD, and I felt like I kind of overstayed my welcome today, because on my first trade, if we go back to trade number 1 today, my first trade was actually on SPRC. SPRC is an old friend. Traded this one a bunch of times. I don't really like it that much, but it started to pop up, and I got in at $4.20, and this thing squeezed all the way up to a high of $5.78. Made $2,200 on it. I was like, you know what? That's not bad. So that was my first trade of the day. That gave me a cushion, but look at the high volume selling. High volume selling, it didn't bounce, it just sold. So that was SPRC, first trade of the day. Second trade of the day for me was on PBM, and I took my first trade at $2 a share. PBM ends up breaking $2 and squeezing basically straight to what was it? What was the high here of this candle? 288. It was incredible. It dips down, it rips back up, and I actually made $5,000 on PBM. But I gave back half of it. I gave back half my profit on PBM on a couple of different trades. One trade on PBM, where was it? It was right here. I got in right here with 12,000 shares for the break of 4. I thought we were going to stair step back up, and I got stopped out, lost $1,500 on that trade. And I also had a trade, I think it was right up in here, where I was looking for that squeeze through the high, and I lost $1,000. So 1,000 on the first, 1,500 on the second, and that dropped me from up 5,000 to up only 2,500 on PBM. And then I got caught in the halt on SGD. And at that point, I went from up 5,000 on the day to up only 2,200 or 2,100. So my day today started, pretty strong with a $2,000 winner on SPRC, and then slowly made a little bit more progress up to a total peak of $7,000. And then I lost 1,000. I was up 6,000. And then I lost 1,500, minus 1,500. And I actually took the $1,500 loss while I was in, so that put me up 4,500, while I was in the halt down on SGD. And then when it resumed and I sold, I was up only 2,100. So yeah, something like that. So anyways, this ended up getting canceled out by this today. Could have just walked away here and been a king. Instead, made 7,000, felt great, and then gave back 70% of it, 65% of it. So the days like this, I always just say, you know what? It's Friday. Do yourself a favor and walk away here with at least something left of your dignity and $2,000 in your pocket. Don't overstay your welcome anymore. you already overstayed your welcome. You pushed it a little too hard. And look, pushing it hard is how you end up having big green days. And I had an $8,000 day yesterday. I had every day this week has been just about at my $5,000 daily goal, except for I think Tuesday, which was 4,500. So this has been a solid week. It would have been nice to have finished today at 7, but it's definitely better to finish today at 2,000 than to finish in the red. And then APM, this one's a little annoying because I had 2 stocks on watch today on side charts. So over on my other monitor, I have this side chart here, and I had APM on the left and I had meds on the right. And both of them ended up having a pretty nice move. The reason I was watching them was for daily continuation, a bounce on APM, the sell-off first daily candle to make a new high. And so I was watching it, had it up pre-market, but there was no indication to buy. It was just going sideways. And then at the open right here, it popped up to 665. And I kind of missed that candle right before the open. And then the bell rang and it squeezed right up to 8 and it halted up. It opened higher, went up to 9, all the way up to 11. So literally had it on my watch list, only made $287 on it because I was so late. My only trade on it was a dip. It was a false halt down and a bounce. And then meds, this one was strong earlier in the week and it's not dying. It's still going a little higher. They put out news earlier in the week of a $8 a share special dividend that's going to happen for shareholders on record as of, I think it was March 18th. So anyways, it made this huge move, pulled back, and it's just not giving up. So, I kind of was like, this could be interesting, but the volume has been so light. We could pull up the level 2 on it, and what you'll see most likely, big spread. 2165 by 2220. So if you jumped in this right now, you'd be down, 35, 45, 55 cents a share? It's just, you can't really manage your risk on that. I did see SWIN squeeze up a bit today. Some traders were looking at that one. Had that crazy move earlier in the week, but and it bounced today. I mean, it went from 32 up to 44, but then in one candle dropped 5 points back down. So, that's the risk with some of these stocks. When stocks make huge moves on light volume, one of the risks is that they're not able to sustain those levels. When a stock slowly grinds higher, even more like meds, and also like APM the other day, as it's grinding higher, it's trapping short sellers. So like this one pops up, reverses, probably trapped some short sellers, and then all of a sudden it goes bananas. These are often bigger than the stocks that just go straight up right here, because when they do that, they often just come back down. Shorts don't really have as much time to get trapped. I mean, unless they're shorting the second it pops up. So once it rolls over, it's like, oh, it's coming back down. And longs don't want to buy it because it's so extended. We had that happen yesterday with, now I can't remember the name of the stock. It doesn't really matter, but we had one yesterday that, had this, it was CERO. Did a crazy move up. It went from $6 to $28 a share. But then, it just wasn't able to sustain that price. So honestly, there was probably more money to be made on this to the short side because it popped up really fast on light volume and then it was just unwinding on heavier volume. So yeah, it bounced a little bit off the low, but these, it's cool. Stock went up, made a big move, but I will usually do better on ones where they kind of really slowly are holding up and then finally just have that explosion later in the day. And we got that on APM, and we certainly got it on HOLO last week. Or sorry, I guess it was last month. HOLO gave us that big move. So as I sit right now, the month of March is looking good. I've had a couple days where I went red, recouped to green. I've had a couple days like today where I was nicely green and gave back half or more. But, right now we're a week in. Well, today's the 6th trading day of March. So I'm seeing a lot of traders throwing down some really nice numbers, traders in the chat room who are sharing their P&L. My profits are solid for right now for March. So I want to just keep my head down and keep trying to chip away at these $5,000 days. They add up, $15,000, $25,000, every few days, and just try to keep the red days as few and far between as possible. So I hope you guys had a great week. As always, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up. And I will see you for the next episode. I'll probably upload something in the next couple of days over the weekend to give you guys something to study. And then, of course, I'll see you on Monday. I'll be live streaming for Warrior Pro members in the morning, and I'll upload my recap on Monday afternoon. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here on Monday.